Okay, in our last video, we looked at creating form, and this is what I drew. What I want to do now, though, is to really get a sense of 3D. You need to add some value to various areas um, of your form. So you'll notice that there are arrows, each pointing in a slightly different direction. I am using this as a guide to where my light source is for each of these objects. So, starting with our lower cube, we have the light coming from the left, and that means that the left side of the front of the form is going to be lighter than the right. I will do more work, and there are a series of videos for you to look at on different value or different techniques to create value. But let's start with this. So I am going to leave a little bit of the right or left, left part of the cube white, and what I am doing here is I am just laying down some very simple lines, and they will get closer together the further to the right I go, to show that this area of the cube is further away from the light source. Okay, so I'm just going to continue this. Okay, this technique, by the way, is called hatching. Okay, now just because I have come to the end or the edge of my shape, it doesn't mean that it needs to be completely black. Okay, I can go in and okay. Now, you'll notice that this light is fairly far down. So the top of the box is going to be darker still, which is why I haven't gone completely to a black value on the side of the box. Okay. The top of the box will be fairly uniform in the way that it's going to be hatched. Okay, because very, very little light is going to be reaching it. Okay, so let's move over to our organic shape. You'll notice here that the light is coming from the top right. Normally, if you were working on a single picture plane, you would have a single light source. But because this is a demonstration video, I am moving my light source around based on the object. So in this particular case, I am going to use a technique to create value called shading. This is the one almost everybody knows about. So if the light is coming down this way, we know, again, this top part will be much lighter. Okay, However, because it's off-centered, okay, we are going to have a little bit of darkness here. And as we go down, this will get darker. And okay, there we go. Now, in order to do proper shading, you often use something called a stump. I don't happen to have one with me. What I do have are some handy dandy Kleenex. So I am literally just going in with my finger on part of the Kleenex and going up and down. And that, what that does is it simply smooths out the lines that I drew. Another way is to use a softer pencil, which will give you a darker line. Okay, remember that your line needs to follow the shape of the object. Okay, now the pencil that I am using here is a 4B. Okay, and you can see already that even without pressing, I am getting a much darker line. Okay, and because this area comes out, it will get a little bit more light than this very dark area in here. Okay. Okay, or this, actually, let me rephrase that. It's very recessed area. Okay. Okay, so there we go. Again, I don't have a stump, but I do have my Kleenex. Okay. And again, I am just short up and down. Okay. If it bleeds over, two things, depending on how much light you need: erase where we've got bleed. Okay. So again, the pencil you choose does matter. Okay. Here I am working with a pencil that is an F. Okay. And again, I am closer to the light source here at the top. So you'll notice that I am laying down slightly heavier areas. I'm going to switch quickly over to my 4B, but I am not going to be as hard. Okay. Now you'll notice that those two are almost the same. Again, I am getting further away from the light source, so I definitely want it darker. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do in terms of the blend is I am going to pull my stump or my Kleenex here in a single direction because I don't want the softer bleeding in to the lighter. Okay, so you can see, okay, how that works. Again, never be afraid to go in and add more. Okay, if you want a highlight, Okay. You can always go in and erase. Okay. Okay. Finally, we're going to work with our box. Okay. And I am going to use a technique on this called cross hatching. You'll notice that the light is coming from the very top. Okay. But the darkest part is going to be this bottom. Okay. Which is going to be as close to black, okay, as I can get it. So cross hatching is using lines that go in one direction and then lines that offset, okay, often on the diagonal, sometimes as a vertical and horizontal, okay. Okay, now you can always combine these techniques as well so that you can here where I need something very dark, I can cross hatch. Here is going to be fairly dark as well, but in this case, I'm just going to use the straight hatch technique, okay? Now, there's a really fun technique. It tends to work best on organic shapes, and it's called scumbling. Take a look. You'll enjoy it. Okay. Here, I am going to be somewhat careful because my light is coming down, so it will be darker at the bottom and lighter at the top. I'm trying to do this as quickly as I can. Okay. And again, the crosshatch. Okay, how far apart I space the cross hatching will determine how dark the resulting shading will be. Okay, so the closer the lines are together, the darker. Okay, so I'm spacing these lines out a bit more because I don't want it quite as dark. Okay, so there's a couple of techniques for adding the illusion of depth to a two-dimensional object. Okay, I hope this has been useful for you. See you soon.